the door.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. So, this is Planescape Torment. I'm going to play this. Y'all very welcome to watch me. This is the enhanced edition, not the original. The original flickers to the desktop and back periodically. Even the one, I have the one from GOG. So, there it is. This one doesn't seem to be too heavily modded by Beamdog. This game is not for the faint of heart. Because your character is not going to be the nicest guy in the world, I promise you. Now we will learn about who all these people are as we go if you've never played this. If you have, it's always nice to play it again, I find. I'll make sure I saved my game earlier in a save spot. So let's do a new life. Now what we want to think about is we need to think about the kind of characters we pick up along the way. We're going to pick up a healer eventually. We will pick up a thief. We can pick up 2 mages. We pick up one who's a mage fighter, and then we have a pure fighter. So we need to think about what we want to be. Okay. That's really kind of hard because we have all the bases covered. Actually, let's make this guy a fighter. I'm just eating some Jello here. Now the problem is you can't skimp too much on very many of your attributes in the beginning. Why? Strength is obvious, although in accuracy they say your attacks are more accurate and damaging, both with your strength. Dexterity is supposed to be accuracy. It's your agility reflexes. That means how many times somebody's going to hit you. Your intelligence helps you regain your memories, and that's part of what you're doing in this game is you're regaining your memories, and it gives you more dialogue options, obviously desirable. Your wisdom also helps you regain your memories, and it gives you some intuition, which is good, but it also gives you bonus to your experience points. Bonus to your experience points means you go up more quickly. Each time you level up, you get 1 extra point to one of your attributes. The advantages there are obvious. People like you better when your charisma is higher. Advantages there, again, are obvious. So let's take that down 1. This means he can be a fighter. We're just going to specialize him as a fighter. My other guy is a mage. I enjoyed that a lot, actually. So let's give him... We'll go like that. That way he has more... He'll get a little bit more experience points, a little bit more... options, dialogue options, which are always nice to have. Okay, we're going to wake up in the morgue. I can't pan in these cutscenes. They made them the way they made them. Only have one choice. And who am I How about you start? Who are you? Okay, I asked you first, Skull. Yeah, and I asked you second. What's your name? You first, Skull, and it's the last time I'll ask. You're tighter than a wet rope. All right, I'll be the nice guy here. Name's Morty. Who are you? There's a lot of reading in this, which is why I wasn't going to stream it earlier. But the EA bugs just really get under my skin, which is not nice. You can't remember your name. Hey, well, next time you spend the night in this burg, so go easy on the bub. Name's Morty. I'm trapped in here too. Yeah, since you haven't had time to get your legs yet, here's the chant. They use a lot of an interesting slang in here. I've tried all the doors, and this room is locked tighter than a chastity belt. We're locked in where? What is this place? It's called a mortuary. It's a big black structure with all the architectural charm of a pregnant spider. The mortuary, what am I, dead? Well, the carvings on your chest aren't... Oh, hold it. What? They skipped over something here. I must have held the one just that little bit too long. Not from where I'm standing. You got scars aplenty, though. Looks like some Burke painted you with a knife. All the more reason to give this place a laugh before whoever carved you up comes back to finish the job. Okay, scars, how bad are they? Well, the carvings on your chest aren't too bad, but the ones on your back... Morty pauses. Say, looks like you got a whole tattoo gallery on your back, Chief. Spells out something. Tattoos on my back, what do they say? Hey, oh, looks like you come with directions. Morty clears his throat. Let's see. It starts with, I know you feel like you've been drinking a few kegs of Styx wash, but you need to center yourself. Among your possessions is a journal that'll shed some light on the dark of the matter. Farad can fill you in on the rest of the chant, if he's not in the dead book already. Farad. Does it say anything else? Yeah, there's a bit more. Morty pauses. Let's see. It goes on. Don't lose the journal or we'll be up the sticks again. And whatever you do, do not tell anyone who you are or what happens to you, or they'll put you on a quick pilgrimage to the crematorium. Do what I tell you. Read the journal, then find Farad. No wonder my back hurts. There's a damn novel written on it. As for that journal, I suppose I'm supposed to have one with me. Was there one with me while I was lying there? I want to make sure that this is set for the right audience, because this is something that has profanity and vulgarity. Extreme injury or death. Simulations or depictions of realistic violence, gore, extreme injuries, or death. Well, they don't have realistic depictions of them, so I think that is not applicable, but I want to make sure that people are warned, because this game really is not for the faint of heart. I have a lot of games that are not for the faint of heart. As old as this game is, I think the older games, they were different. The newer games are crass in a whole different way. More vulgar way. Okay. No. Okay, we already said that. I know you were stripped to the skins when you arrived here. Sides looks like you got enough journal pinned on your body. What about Farad? Do you know him? Nobody I know, but then again, I don't know many people. Still, some Burke's got to know where to find Farad. Once we get out of here, that is. How do we get out of here? Well, all the doors are locked, and so we need a key. Chances are one of these walking corpses in the room has it. Walking corpses. Yeah, the mortuary keepers use dead bodies as cheap labor. The corpses are dumb as stone, and they're harmless and won't attack you unless you attack first. Okay, so I should attack one of these corpses and loot it for a key. Well, before you do that, arm yourself first. I think there's a scalpel in one of the shelves around here. Okay. And then they give you hints that nobody ever needed a couple of decades ago to play this game. So the bandage rolls help you heal yourself. There's the scalpel. Comes the bobbin head. Alright, you found the scalpel, now go get those corpses. And don't worry, I'll stay back and provide valuable tactical advice. And maybe you could help me, Morty. I will be helping you. Good advice is hard to come by. I mean helping attack the corpse. Me, I'm a romantic, not a soldier. I'd just get in the way. When I attack this corpse, you'd better be right there with me, or you'll be the next thing that I plunge this scalpel into. Hey, all right, I'll help you. Good. Glad we understand each other. And there's just a bunch of notes, like I said, that, you know, nobody has ever needed in the past. I don't know why they would be necessary now. Okay, so let's arm ourselves. And we want to check all the tables as we go through here, just in case. Now, what we can do here, we can scroll in here. We can actually examine the corpse to see if it's carrying a key. This corpse doesn't appear to be carrying a key, and it doesn't look like it would be able to use one if it did. Its fingers are broken, and as if someone smashed them with a hammer. You do happen to notice that its left shoulder is heavily bandaged. The bandages might be usable if the corpse was disposed of first. I guess we can ask him which one of his friends has it. He's like, Chief, they can't hear you, all right? They're dead. But you're dead and you're talking to me. Well, yeah, I'm special. Death can't kill my zest for life. These corpses here, Morty rolls his eyes, they probably didn't have much personality to begin with. Okay, I see. Look, Chief, watching you trying to swap the chant with these corpses isn't doing much for my morale. Let's leave the corpse talk for the barmies, okay? Okay, sounds fine, but let's get those bandages. This is weird. I don't remember my game looking like that earlier, but that's okay. I want to make sure my other game has been set on level 4 the whole time. The portions that are, it goes from 1 to 5. The portions that are difficult, I'm able to lure the people out and handle it that way. It's not a big deal. So let's be smart, use our quick save, or at least pretend to be smart. We could do that, right? I think it goes in the other direction. We have a key, but it's a key to this door. Some advice, Chief. I'd keep it quiet from here on. No need to put any more corpses in the dead book than necessary, especially the femmes. Plus, killing them might draw the caretakers here. I don't think you mentioned before who. They use these asterisks on either side to be actually what you would use as the little single mark. Not the quote marks, those are not actually correct, the little single ones. So, they call themselves, they're using it actually to sort of, you could also write it fat. So fat, bold, italics. They're using it to emphasize, to lend emphasis. Sorry. They call themselves dustmen. You can't miss them. They have an obsession with black and rigor mortis of the face. They're an addled bunch of ghoulish devil worshippers. They believe everybody should die sooner better than later. I'm confused. Why do these dustmen care if I escape? Weren't you listening? I said the dusties believe everybody's got to die sooner or later. Sooner better than later. You think the corpses you've seen are happy in the dead book? Are happier in the dead book than out of it? The corpses I've seen here, where did they come from? Death visits the plains every day, Chief. These shamblers are all that's left of the poor sods who sold their bodies to the caretakers after death. Well, actually, they sold their bodies to the caretakers before they died for after they die. In other words, they can take possession of their corpses once they die, when they become corpses. So why shouldn't we attack the females? You're serious? Look, Chief, these dead chits are the last chance for a couple of hardy bashers like us. We need to be chivalrous, no hacking them up for keys, no lopping off their limbs and things like that. Last chance? What are you talking about? Chief, they're dead. We're dead. Do you see where I'm going, eh? No, actually I don't. Chief, we've already got an opening line with these limping ladies. We've all died at least once. We'll have something to talk about. They'll appreciate men with our kind of death experience. Wait, didn't you say before I'm not dead? Well, all right, you might not be dead, but I am. Well, he has died, too. And from where I'm standing, I wouldn't mind sharing a coffin with some of these fine, sinewy cadavers I see here. Morty starts clacking his teeth as if in anticipation. Of course, the caretakers would have to part with them first, and that's not likely. Okay, can we move on? It's obvious you're still a little addled after your kiss with death, so I got 2 bits of advice for you. One, you got any questions, ask me, all right? All right, if I have any questions, ask you. Second, if you're half as forgetful as you seem to be, start writing stuff down. Whenever you come across something that might be important, jot it down so you don't forget. If I had that journal I was supposed to have with me, I'd do that. We'll start a new one then, Chief. No loss. There's plenty of parchment and ink around here to last you. All right. It couldn't hurt. I'll make a new one then. So, use it to keep track of your movements. If you ever start to get cloudy on important things like who you are, or more importantly, who I am, use it to refresh your memory. Okay. The only thing I don't like about the journal in here is you cannot write any of your own stuff. You can't make your own notes. So these are who we've met so far. It shows you the NPCs, and it shows you the PCs people that you can bring into your party that you've already come across, which is nice. But like I said, it would be nice if you could actually make notes in your journal, because they write the stuff here in your journal, but not everything you're supposed to do ends up under the quests. So let's go talk to some of these. The shambling corpse gazes at you with vacant eyes. Her skin is paper thin, almost wispy. It's like someone draped a sheet of cobwebs over her frame. The number 594 has been scratched into her forehead with a charcoal pencil. Okay, so do anything later tonight? The corpse continues to stare at you. Farewell then. Psst. You see the way she was looking at me? Huh? You see that? The way she was following the curve of my occipital bone? What are you talking? Oh, you mean that blank-eyed beyond the grave stare? Are you blind? She was scouting me out. It was shameless the way she wanted me. I think you and your imagination need some time away from each other. Yeah, whatever. Basically, you can say anything you want to Morty. He's not going to get all bent out of shape and leave, but there are some other NPCs, other PCs that go into your party. That's why they're called PCs in this game, that could leave your party if they get upset with you. Yeah, whatever. When you've been dead as long as I have, you know the signals. We may be too subtle for you to pick up on, but that's why I'm spending my nights with some luscious, recently dead chit while you're standing around going, huh? What's going on? Where's my memories? Okay, whatever. So, we'll find interesting things with these guys if you just talk to each one or try to. The left side of this woman's face looks as if it was caved in with a club, with her flesh sags in bruised, swollen clumps over her ruined skull. The number 626 has been stitched onto the corpse's right cheek, just below the eye. That's a nasty wound you've got there. The corpse continues to stare at you with its one good eye. Okay, So far we haven't found anything, but I promise you if you talk to these guys and lean on that tab key. Beamdog made it where the tab key works in this game. Like I said, this is one of the games where I'm fairly satisfied with what they've done with it. This corpse is lumbering along in a triangular path. Once it reaches one of the corners of the triangle, it pauses, then turns and staggers toward the next corner. It has 965 tattooed on the side of its skull. As you approach, it halts and stares at you. Hey, looks like someone forgot to tell this sod to stop walking the rule of threes. Well, what do you mean? These corpses don't have much left in the attic, so they can't do more than one task at a time. When they're told to do something, they keep on doing it until someone tells them to stop. This poor sod probably finished some task, and they forgot to tell him. Okay, you said the rules of three. What does that mean? Okay, well, the rule of threes is one of those laws about the planes, about things tending to happen in threes, which makes sense because the alignment chart is 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, right? 3. There's 9 alignments. Everything's composed of 3 parts. There's always 3 choices, so on and so forth. You don't sound like you hold much faith in it. It's a load of wash, if you ask me. If you look for a number, any number, and try to attach some great meaning to it, you're going to find plenty of coincidences. So before you said you said someone put this corpse a task, then forgot to tell them to stop. Who gives them the orders? Either one of the caretakers here, or else whatever necromancer raised them out of the dead book. Probably one of the caretakers here. They're the ones who need the cheap labor, after all. Okay, I want to examine the body, the zombie a bit closer. This corpse is lumbering along, blah, 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 blah. So why are you walking in a triangle? It just stares at you. Nothing. Oh, well, it's worth a try. In my other party, I've got a full party of people. All these slots are already filled, you know. So it's the game is going quite well. This game is a lot of hours, by the way. It will be very much worth your time. Now, I will tell you this. I have not found a use for that logbook. And you can end up back here anytime you want to. Just get yourself killed. So, the corpse shuffling from slab to slab, bandaging the corpses lying there. The number 396 is carved into his left temple, and his lips are stitched closed. You notice the corpse is carrying a roll of Band-Aids in its hand. The Band-Aids look usable. Mind if I borrow the Band-Aids? Okay, try to take the bandages. You snake your hand out and take the roll of bandages from the corpse's hand. The corpse doesn't even seem to notice. It continues going through the motions of bandaging the bodies. This corpse is shuffling, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, whatever. I'm going to apologize to the corpse. Okay, this female corpse is making the rounds from slab to slab in the room. By the way, my other party is poised to go on a jaunt into the lower planes. We will be plane hopping in this game. She's making the rounds from slab to slab in the room. Her hair is knotted in a long braid and looped around her neck like a noose. Somebody has stenciled the number 1096 onto her forehead, and her lips have been stitched closed. Nice braid. She doesn't respond. Probably shouldn't do that with that guy sitting right there. This one's a little bit longer conversation. Doll. This scribe looks very old. His skin is wrinkled and has a slight trace of yellow, like an old parchment. Charcoal gray eyes lie within an angular face, and a large white beard flows down from the front of his robes like a waterfall. His breathing is ragged and irregular, but even his occasional coughing does not slow the scratching of his quill pen. Whoa, Chief, what are you doing? I was going to speak to this scribe. He might know something about how I got here. Look, rattling your bone box with Dusty should be the last thing. I can tell you it's okay for us to do this. Before Morty can finish his rant, the scribe begins coughing violently. After a moment or two, the coughing spell dies down and the scribe's breathing resumes its ragged wheeze. And we especially shouldn't be swapping the chant with sick Dusties. Come on, let's leave. The quicker we give this place a laugh, the better. Before Morty can finish, the scribe's gray eyes flicker to you. The weight of years hangs heavy upon me, restless one. He sets down his quill. But I do not yet count deafness among my ailments. Okay, restless one, do you know me? I know you. There's a trace of bitterness in the scribe's voice as he speaks. I've never known you, restless one. No more than you have known yourself. He's silent for a moment. For you have forgotten, have you not? Okay, who are you? As always, the question, and the wrong question, as always. He bows slightly, but the movement suddenly sends him into a bout of coughing. He pauses for a moment, catches his breath. I am Dahl. Okay, perhaps you can answer some questions for me. Very well, what is it you wish? How did I get here? Dahl snorts in contempt as if he finds the memory repugnant. Your moldy chariot ferried you to the mortuary, restless one. You would think you were royalty based on the number of loyal subjects that lay stinking and festering upon the cart that carried you. I arrived here on a cart? Yes, your body was somewhere in the middle of the heap, sharing its fluids, that's nasty, with the rest of the mountain of corpses. It's kind of funny what bothers me and what doesn't bother me, doesn't it? Dal breaks into another violent fit of coughing. Finally, catching his breath minutes later, your seneschal, Farad, was, as always, pleased to accept a few moldy coppers to dump the lot of you at the mortuary gate. So, Elijah, are you in? Okay, who is Farad? He is a collector of the dead, Dull. Draws a ragged breath, then continues. We have such people in our city that scavenge the bodies of those that have walked the path of true death and bring them to us so that they may be interred properly. Seriously, people, I can't even have my window open. Okay, where can I find this Farad? If events persist as they have, restless one, you have a much greater chance of Farad finding you and bringing you to us again before you find whatever ooze puddle he wallows in this time. Nevertheless, I must find him. A slight warning creeps into Dahl's tone. Do not seek out Farad. I don't know, he's a Farad. Restless one, I'm certain that it will simply come full circle again, with you none the wiser and Farad few coppers richer. Accept death, restless one. Do not perpetrate your circle of misery. I don't think he knows where he is anyhow. So let's ask him about the mortuary. This is where the dead are brought to be interred and cremated. It is our responsibility as dustmen to care for the dead, those who have left this shadow of a life and walked the path of true death. Dahl's voice drops in concern. Your wounds must have extracted a heavy toll if you do not recognize this place. It is almost your home. So let's go through the topics real quick. I don't like this, that they put this show more button. I just want to see all my choices. I understand why they did it, but I don't like it myself. Let's go through the topics. Shadow of life. Yes, a shadow. You see, restless one, this life, it is not real. Your life, my life, they are shadows, flickerings of what life once was. This life is where we end up after we die, and here we remain trapped, caged, until we can achieve true death. Okay, what does he mean by true death? True death is non-existence, a state devoid of reason, of sensation, of passion. Oh, actually my nightmare. Dahl coughs and gives a ragged breath, a state of purity. Okay, sounds like oblivion. Why would anyone want that? Is it worse than remaining in this shadow of what life once was? I think not. Okay. Let's ask more about the mortuary. Let's hear from his lips. What about the dustmen? We dustmen are a faction, a gathering of those of us that recognize the illusion of this life. We await the next life and help others on their journey. Okay. So tell me... Okay, perhaps you can explain why the dustmen want me dead. It is said that there are souls who can never attain the true death. Death has forsaken them, and their names shall never be penned in the dead book. To awake from death as you have done suggests you are one of those souls. Your existence is unacceptable to our faction. Unacceptable? That doesn't sound like it leaves me in a good position. You must understand, your existence is a blasphemy to them. Many of our faction would order you cremated if they were aware of your affliction. Okay, but you're dustman. You don't seem to be in favor of killing me. Why not? Because forcing our beliefs on you is not just. You must give up the shadow of life on your own, not because we force you to. Dahl looks about to break into another coughing jag, but he manages to hold it in with some effort. As long as I remain at my post, I will protect your right to search for your own truth. He didn't sound too healthy neither, though, does he? So what else? Tell me about Sigil. It's the city we're in. Sigil's our fair city. Restless one. I think they say Sigil sometimes. I've always heard Sigil. Tell me more about the mortuary. Okay, what about the wounds? Yes, the wounds that decorate your body. They look as if they would have sent a lesser man along the path of true death, yet it seems as if many of them have healed already. Dahl coughs violently for a moment, then steadies himself. But those are only the surface wounds. Okay, only the surface wounds. What do you mean? I speak of wounds of the mind. You've forgotten much, have you not? Perhaps, mayhap your true wounds run much deeper. That means it may happen, right? Than the scars that decorate your surface. Dahl coughs. Just a second. How loud does a telephone have to be to reach all the way up to the 3rd floor of an apartment building through the window from the street? That is just completely mental. Okay. Some people don't care about anything around them. Okay, Dahl coughs again. But that is something that only you would know for certain. Why does it sound like a rat chewing on the wrong thing? Elijah, can you do me a favor and put Leva back up in her cage, please, sweetness? It's my rabbit. He likes to clean all the stuff out of his toilet. All the wood shavings and the pressed wood pellets. Okay, so some other questions. Can you tell me how to get out of here? The front gate is the most obvious exit, but they will not let anyone other than dustmen pass. Dahl breaks into a ragged cough, then continues. One of the guides by the front gate has a key to it, but it's unlikely he will open it for you unless you are extremely persuasive. I've found 3 ways, by the way, out of this mortuary. I'm sure y'all have too. Maybe y'all found even more, right? There is a gateway that you can find. You can kill one of the dusties, take the robe and dress as a dustman, find your way out, or you can let yourself be found and be escorted out. If you say the right thing, they will escort you out rather than attacking you. Those are the 3 ways that I've found. Would love to hear from other people about what you've found, by the way. One of the guides at the front gate has a key, but it's unlikely he will open it for you unless you're extremely persuasive. Wunderbar, darling, einfach, fabelhaft. You sound ill, are you not well? I am close now to the true death, restless one. It will not be long before I pass beyond the eternal boundary and find the peace. I have been seeking. I tire of the mortal sphere. Doll gives a ragged sigh. The plains hold no more wonders for one such as I. Are you sure? There may be some way I can help you. I do not wish to live forever, nor live again, restless one. I could not bear it. Okay. What do you do here? I am a scribe, a cataloger of all the shells that come to the mortuary. Doll coughs again and then takes a deep breath. As long as the stream of corpses flows through the mortuary, I shall remain at my post. You say that I have been here more than once. How is it that the dustmen do not recognize me? And every time he says updated my journal, we've asked him something that's sensible. Okay, we're getting potentially useful information. I am the one who catalogs the shells that come to our halls, restless one. Doll breaks into a fit of coughing, then steadies himself. Only I see the faces of those that lie upon our slabs. The dark of your existence lies safe with me. Okay. You get a feel for what they mean by the chant, the dark, and these different things. Okay. Seems I owe you a favor. Farewell, Doll. As you turn to leave, Doll speaks. Know this. I do not envy you, restless one. To be reborn as you would be a curse that I could not bear. You must come to terms with it. At some point, your path will return you here. Doll coughs, the sound rattling in his throat. It is the way of all things, flesh and bone. Then perhaps we will meet again, Doll. But I probably won't remember it. Okay, let's quick save. There's 4 quick save slots, by the way. Which is also, I think, a feature of the EE. This walking corpse has the numbers 1094 carved into its forehead. Its mouth has been sewn tightly shut, and the chemical reek of fresh formaldehyde hangs in an overpowering cloud around it. Despite the pallid sunken features and lifeless milky eyes, it's clear this was once a handsome young man. So, see anything interesting going on? He's not really talking to us. Let me open the windows and pull the fan in here since I can't open the windows in here. It's too hot. Okay? Y'all, I'm going to steal your fan and I'm going to open the windows for you. Okay? So y'all get some good fresh air in here. Achim, if you keep it up, you're going to end up back in the room. I know we stole it. Elijah, did you put Leave upstairs, honey? Now I'm going to show you all my littlest rabbit here, since I dug her out. Just a second. This game is a little bit darker than the other one, so let me turn the light on. Okay. And she is black, so she's hard to see. Did y'all see that pretty baby? Oh, pretty baby. See how pretty baby, Mama. It's okay, darling. Ugh. It's okay. What's that crazy light, huh? What's that crazy light? Mama's a baby girl. She does a baby girl. Oh, Mama says so. Oh, Mama, I know, I'm sorry. I'm not actually trying to piss you off. Achim, I mean it. You know what, I think I'm just going to close this. Yes, I know you want rings, and you want, and you want, and you want, and you wait. Okay, that settles that. Now I have the fan and they have the open windows. So we really don't have to go around killing all the zombies. We could if we wanted to. Okay, this is the gal with the long braid. That's the one we haven't talked to yet. The smell of formaldehyde emanating from this corpse is particularly strong. It smells like it was applied recently with good reason. This corpse appears to be in an advanced stage of decay. Her jaw is missing and some of the flesh has slid off her skull, revealing the number 1072 chiseled into the bone. I think she's seen better days. Okay. Make sure that we've looted everything here. Okay, we looked in there. I decided to leave that behind. Let's grab the coppers and the fist irons. Fist irons will give us a copper anyhow, but 2 to 4 crushing as opposed to 1 to 3 piercing. So we can change weapons here. Okay. Move on to the next room. This huge corpse is walking silently in a corner of the room facing the wall. He looks to have been a heavy-set man in his early years, and judging by the condition of his body, he died only recently. The freshly stitched number on his forehead reads 1664. This corpse looks like it is serving as a librarian, for it's carrying a huge stack of books in its arms. So let's examine the books. The books appear to be old mortuary ledgers, none of them in any particular interest. As you search through the text, however, you notice a loose page folded between 2 of the books. You are suddenly struck with the feeling that someone tucked it in there to hide it. So let's take the page. The page doesn't look like it belongs with the ledgers. It looks like it belongs in a logbook. The tear is clean, as if with a knife, so you suspect the page was removed purposefully. Read through it. So you take a moment to read through the page. It's a list of dead bodies brought to the mortuary and logged in the receiving room. All the entries appear to be recent arrivals. Examine the body again. Let's examine the books again. He's not going to talk to us. So if we right click on our portrait, we will find that page. So this is a description of people they brought in that night. You're not a tiefling, so that's not you. Skeleton. That shouldn't be you either. Desiccated corpse might be you. Cause of death indeterminable. Age of shell prevents identification. Collector Farod. 3 commons paid. Commons are the bronze, the copper coins, I mean. Possessions log. Knife marks evident from dissection, but the dissection was not thorough enough. Copper earring found lodged in abdomen. Earring has been logged in the southeast preparation room. Have an initiate from the 3rd circle examine it. It has strange markings like those on the contracted worker number 79. That sounds like you. Scarred shell, although that could be you too. Cause of death, indeterminate or us. Cause of death, indeterminable. Scars do not appear to be the cause of death. Shock trauma, collector, Farod, 3 commons paid. Possessions logged, fist irons, 13 commons, middle table of the receiving room. I think that was us, wasn't it? Desiccated corpse, cause of death indeterminable, age of shell prevents identification. Stripped knife marks evident from dissection, so he killed these people in essence. Drunk chest wound, cause of death, Mowling or Abishai. Collector pox, 3 commons paid, no possessions. Okay. And that's what's in the book. So we can put this up into our quick slot thingy here, so that we can go here and select an item to use when we want to, or when we need to. Let's quick save it because we are smart gamers. This first part, you're just trying to get your bearings. So, as in bearings. Okay. Let's talk to her first. Evane. You see a slight woman with pale features. The sunken flesh around her cheeks and neck make her appear as if she's starving. She seems intent on dissecting the corpse in front of her, prodding the chest with a finger. Okay, we say greetings. She does not respond. She seems too intent on the body in front of her. As you watch her work, you suddenly notice her hands. Her fingers are talons. They are darting in and out of the corpse's chest cavity like knives, removing organs. What's wrong with your hands? The woman makes no response. She's a tiefling, Chief. They got fiend blood in their veins, usually because some ancestor of theirs shared knickers with one demon or another. Make some of them addled in the head and addled looking too. So tap the woman to get her attention. The woman jumps and whips around to face you. Her eyes are rotting yellow with the small orange dots for pupils. As she sees you, her expression changes from surprise to irritation, and she frowns at you. So we say, greetings. She doesn't seem to have heard you. She leans forward, squinting as if she can't quite make you out. What is wrong with her eyes must make her terribly nearsighted, or whatever's wrong. She clacks her taloned fingers together, then makes a strange motion with her hands. Fine thread and embalming juice. Bring here to Evane. Go, go, go. Okay, so now it's telling you you've been assigned a quest, and in case you're so brain dead that you don't know what to do, you should probably fulfill the quest. Kind of a no-brainer. So, I love how they feel the need to explain everything in this game as if you're 4 years old, whereas decades ago they never did. This corpse, 985, has stopped dead in its tracks. Judging from the condition of its left leg, it looks as if some sort of tomb rot or corpse mold has eaten through the knee. The corpse is wobbling unsteadily back and forth, trying to keep its balance. So let's push the corpse over. Chief, you might not want... There is a crack from the corpse's left leg. The body falls like a dead tree. Its torso strikes the stone flagstones and shatters like a rotten melon. Filth and ichor gurgling from the cavity. To your surprise, no one seems to have noticed the corpse's collapse. And even stranger, the left leg remains standing where the body was, as if at attention. After a moment, the leg falls over with a wet thump. As you gaze upon the putrefied remains of the corpse, you notice that its left arm seems intact. It has snapped from the torso during the fall, and it doesn't appear to have been touched by the tomb rot that has spread throughout the rest of the body. By the way, the reason I'm able to play this game on a single monitor, is because it's an EE game. They tethered the mouse to the game itself. Unlike in my Baldur's Gate 2, which is the original, not the EE version. I wonder if I could make use of that arm. That was a leg. Oh, yes, the arm. That thing makes a great weapon. Almost forgot. The arm of number 985. That arm does 1 to 6 crushing damage. And it's debatable as to whether or not 1 to 6 crushing damage is better than 2 to 4 crushing damage. But I would tend to say it is. If it were like 2 to 5, then we could talk about it. We could have a great discussion, even a debate. So we've already checked this whole place. We haven't found any embalming fluid yet. I'm not going to read all those descriptions. It will take way too long. The shambling corpse gazes at you with vacant eyes. The number 821 is carved into its forehead, and its lips have been stitched closed. The faint smell of formaldehyde emanates from the body. So, seen anything interesting going on? As you address the zombie, it blinks in surprise. Eh, what? Why were you disguised as a corpse? A corpse who's not a corpse. The zombie is trying to respond behind stitched lips. He has a peculiar, half-frightened, half-angry expression. Who you? What you want? Okay, I'm asking the questions here, zombie. I'm gonna be a strong arm in this one. Tell me who you are, and I'll make that disguise a reality. The zombie doesn't seem to have heard you. He looks you up and down for a few moments and frowns. What you do here? His eyes narrow suspiciously. You spy on Dusty's. You spy on Dusty's? I'm not a spy. I just got sealed in here by accident. Why don't you tell me what you're doing here before I call the guards? What else? I'll say it again. What? No, don't hurt me. The fact that you outweigh the zombie by several pounds of raw muscle seems to influence his decision, and his expression crumbles. Don't hurt me. Me spy on Dusty's. Say what I see. No, nothing more. Spy for who? That would actually be for whom. The zombie falls into a frightened silence. He seems unwilling to say more. Come on, who are you watching this place for? Hold on, Morty sounds surprised. This Burke must be an anarchist. Posing as a zombie got to be a first for those addled sods. Anarchist. So now we get more information. Anarchists. They're a faction that wastes their time peeping on authority figures and looking for ways to tear down anything that stinks of order or control, Morty snorts. The anarchists think every Burke across the plains will be free and happy to seek their own truth once the establishment is burned to the ground. They want to establish a new order, which is no order at all. Okay? So I have a hard time. I have a hard time anyhow playing a chaotic character, so maybe we'll do that, and it'll be a challenge. So it seems like a noble pursuit. Order could use a good tearing down every once in a while. The zombie is watching you both fearfully. He is still silent, but something in his expression tells you Morty's guess was right on the mark. Okay, it'll be a lot less painful for you if you tell me why the anarchists want you to spy on this place. To your surprise, the zombie turns away from you. He is starting to glance around fearfully. Okay, you won't talk? Get ready to start screaming. The moment I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Oh, he's got a knife. Oh, that's 1 to 3 piercing. We heal, by the way. Our constitution dictates how quickly we heal. Okay. So as we're wandering around through here, we will start healing. All by our own lonesome little selves. See? We don't have to do anything about that. Sometimes he heals very slowly, however, and you will need to take steps to help him heal more quickly. Let's use the fist irons here. Ah, an ancient copper earring. Wunderbar, darling, einfach fabelhaft. So what this says. It looks ancient. Oddly enough, there doesn't seem to be a hook or any means of actually attaching it to your ear. A series of strange grooves have been carved into the inside of the earring, however, which might merit a closer examination. Before I do, I would like to quick save. Err on the side of caution. Okay, this copper earring looks extremely old. It looks like it was meant to be worn, but there doesn't seem to be a hook or any means of actually attaching it to your ear. Okay, let's examine the grooves. The grooves are evenly spaced along the side of the earring. Upon closer examination, they remind you of small fangs. They are definitely man-made, but you can't figure out what they were intended for. Now, this must be the earring that corresponds to number 79 that they alluded to in that in that log sheet that we found. So we got two things of embalming fluid now. Let's go back up here to Evane, both of us. You see Evane, she is still dissecting the corpse's chest with her talons. The rhythm of the talons reminds you of something, but you can't quite recall what. So let's watch her and study the motion of her hands. You study the motion of Evane's hands and you feel a prickling. Got something in my mouth. And then suddenly you find your vision swimming and blurring until you are standing in front of a freshly slain corpse. Rigor mortis making a mockery of its smile, the number 42, the answer to everything, right? Has been stitched into its scalp. I think they might have done that on purpose so you could remember the number easily. The zombie is lying on a slab and you have just finished stitching up its chest. You have placed something inside, something that may prove useful if you come this way again. So you hear an echo of the past. Keep these things safe and wait for my return. The memory of your voice is an echo, strange and hollow to your ears. You cross your arms in front of your chest, and to your surprise, so does the corpse. After a moment, its hands fall back to its sides, and as it does, the vision fades, until you are watching Evane's hands make their stitching motions once more. And I give you the unnecessary explanation that everyone else automatically figured out on their own decades ago. She turns, sees you, then frowns. Dumb zombies. She clacks her talon fingers together impatiently, then makes a stitching motion with her fingers. Find thread, embalming fluid. Oh, I haven't found the thread yet. Go, go, go. Why I don't have thread? Sagamol. I thought that I had thread, but I don't. Okay, well that's my poisonal stupidity. Mama hier weiter. This is weird because usually you have thread by this point. So what have I failed to examine here? Of course, I can just go upstairs and get some too, if I need to. So we'll do that since did we examine the zombies in here? The heavily stitched corpse is shuffling lazily back and forth between its two slabs. The number 506 has been stitched on its forehead and the side of its neck and its right arm. In fact, the skin of this peeling corpse has been sewn up so many times with so many stitches, its skin looks like a bizarre street map. Examine the stitches. The stitches encircle the corpse, running from its arms across its chest, up its neck, and into the damp mass of white hair. As you follow the crossroads of stitches, you notice someone has jammed a needle into the corpse's forehead. The needle is attached to a thread stitching up the side of the skull. You could probably unravel it if you had something to cut the thread. So cut the stitches with your scalpel, then pull the needle and thread. You slice the thread neatly with the scalpel. I knew I found some down here somewhere. Then pluck out the needle and pull the stitches out. As you do, the skin covering the forehead peels back to reveal the corpse's chalk white skull, where, to your surprise, the number 78 has been chiseled. Seems like you got two different designations here, corpse. Can I examine it again? Okay, I guess not. Is not a problem. The eyes of this corpse are close set together, and the eyeballs themselves are slightly askew. One faces to the left and the other to the right. You can barely make out the number 257 traced into its bruised forehead. Looks like the corpse has taken several blows to the head, making the number difficult to read. Now, don't you get dizzy with your eyeballs facing like that? Well, there's no flicker of anything. So we now have the thread and the embalming fluid that we need. Tap her to get her attention. Okay, she sees you, then frowns. Okay, same thing. Give her the thread and the embalming fluid. Okay. Without missing a beat, Evane snaps the thread from your hands and hooks it around one of her talons, then begins sewing up the corpse's chest. She then takes the embalming fluid and begins to apply a layer to the corpse. So we're just going to wait. Within minutes she is finished. She clicks her talons, then turns to face you. To your surprise, she extends her hand and drags her talons along your arms and chest. I'm just going to keep playing zombie. Looks like you have a new friend, Chief. You two need some time together, or keep playing zombie. As she traces your arms and chest, you suddenly notice she seems to be examining your scars. She withdraws her talons, clicking them twice, then bends forward and examines some of the tattoos on your chest. Who write on you? Hivers do that. No respect for zombies. Zombies not paintings. She sniffs, then pokes one of your scars. There's one bad shape, mini scars. No preserves. So we're just going to wait. Her talons suddenly hook into the thread you brought her, and lightning like she jabs another talon into the skin near one of your scars. It feels barely more than a pinprick, but it looks like she's about to start stitching you up. Let's let her work. So we only gained one hit point max, that is to say. But it's better than a sharp stick in the eye. The sensation is curiously painless as Evane begins to stitch up your scars. When she's done, she sniffs you, frowns, and then stabs her finger into the embalming fluid. Within minutes, she has dabbed your body with the fluid, and strangely enough, it makes you feel better. So let's let her work. This may be the second time in my life I'm thankful I don't have a nose. Evane puts the last touches on your body, gives you yet another sniff, nods, then makes a shooting motion with her talons. Done. Go, go. Okay. I'm going to save our game. Now, let's go upstairs. Now, this is fun upstairs because you try not to get caught by the Desties, okay? If they catch you, you need to tell them you're there for a viewing, and they will tell you you're in the wrong place, and you bid them goodbye, okay? What are you looking for up here? You're looking for that number 42. He's got something of yours in his body cavity, and it would be great if you could get it. Wow, I've never had them pursue me that bad. The fuck? Never. I've never had them pursue me that. Wow. Pardon my French. That guy just really came after me, didn't he? Okay, someone has pinned a series of tasks in red ink on a scrap of parchment. I would like the contracted workers to be inspected thrice daily. At the end of each work shift, when the new initiates come on duty, we have experienced too many contracted collapses while engaged in heavy labor as of late. I fear the embalming enchantments initially used on the corpses may decay or be warped somehow. If the contracted workers could be inspected every 8 hours and raised if they have collapsed, then this would prevent backlog of shells in the preparation rooms and free up more contracted workers for other duties. I do not wish collapsed bodies to be disposed of. When possible, the original contracted shells are to be raised and be made to resume their duties. I have included spare embalming charms within the shelves for the initiates on duty. They are to be used only when the shells cannot be repaired with stitching, bandaging, or applications of embalming fluid. This is a clot charm. This heals 9 hit points and gives you 5 resistance to slashing attacks and 10% to 10% resistance to what was the other kind of attack. So it's a pretty good deal. I really like that arm. The arm makes a great weapon. So the other one was 10%. We're looking at something different now. 10% resistance to piercing attacks. So. I really have never had one of them pursue me all the way across that place like that. Whoa, let's put this in our... What? Oh yeah, we can't... That's the one that we can't hang on there because there's no mechanism to hang it. Let's give this to the skull. Okay. I think put all this up here for the moment. Bandages will help us at this stage in the game. Later on they will be... But in this game, it doesn't take a certain amount of time to use these things, so you can use them over and over again, and that makes them more useful later. See if we can keep from being pursued here. We are looking for number 42. Okay, this one's number is 863. The back of its skull is caved in. Someone has taken advantage of this and tucked a rolled piece of parchment inside the skull. Take the parchment out of the skeleton's skull. You slip the parchment out of the worker's skull. Oddly enough, it looks as if the skull cavity is intended to store messages. Unhook the string and take the parchment. Examine the skeleton again. Okay, it looks like it's seen a great deal of action. Show more. I have to ask, are those broken bones from combat or falling down? Let's examine the skeleton even more carefully. Someone has taken care to bind the bones of the skeleton with leather straps woven around the body in such a pattern that they resemble muscles and tendons. The straps are secured to metal bolts punched into the skeleton's joints. This skeleton looks like it has seen a great deal of service. Many of its bones are chipped, and numerous fractures are bound with sealant and foul-smelling glues. So let's pry out the skeleton's joint bolts. Whoa, Chief, that's vandalism. Those bolts are probably the only thing holding that bag of bones together. Necromancy only goes so far. Yeah, so? Oh, it's not a problem. Morty does a strange bobbing motion that you think might be a shrug. Just wasn't sure if you knew that or not. By all means, go ahead. So now let's pry out the joints. Okay, and a wooden club. We'll take this one. We're not going to take any more because they are worthless. Okay, 1146. Carved into the forehead. Lips were sewn together with coarse black thread. The entire body is covered in horrible scars. Worse even than your own, as if its owner had been burned to death. Its nose, ears, and several digits are missing, presumably charred away in some long ago conflagration. I'm going to take my rabbit ears off for a little while. I hope nobody minds. As you block its path to get its attention, it stops and gazes at you with vacant eyes. So you see anything interesting? Yeah, just kind of stares at you. That's about what I expected. See if we can grab something out of this shelf. It's nothing but junk. We don't need the junk right now. We need a key for this. Yes, yep. So let's quick save in case we screw this up. 1148. Historically, this thing is down here. 613, cut deeply into the plodding corpse's forehead, but an inch of shredded leathery skin separates the 1 and the 3. Looking closely, you can barely make out a 2 carved there. So that's not something of interest, apparently, for us. Trying to keep an eye on that Dusty while I get close enough to get over to that cabinet in case she happens to go away. So I can get that key. Okay. The hammer will give us 1 copper piece. There's another set of stairs going down. Let's come down here into the south room, by the way. We need to find our skeleton. It's out there somewhere in the big room. This animated skeleton smells horrible, as if it's been only freshly stripped and prepared. Its jaw and major joints are tightly bound with leather straps, and a rough smock has been thrown over it. The number 1221 has been chiseled into its forehead. Examine the skeleton carefully. Someone has taken care to bind the bones of this skeleton. This is the same thing. We don't need to... Wonder if this graybeard would mind if I borrowed his body. Don't think he's in any position to object. Morty studies the skeleton for a moment, then shakes his head. Nah, I need a fresher one than this. And something with a little more dignity. This one's all creaky and fractured. Oh, and you're not? Oh, you're a sack full of laughs. Morty glares at you. Besides, you're one to talk, Burke. Mirrors beg for mercy when you're around. Oh, at least I have all my parts. Morty snorts. You're not quite sure how he managed it without lungs. Let me tell you, Morty, there's nothing more satisfying than walking around, swinging your arms, breathing the crisp, fresh air, through the lungs. It's great to have a body. I'll have you know that helping you escape the preparation room has now been added to my growing list of regrets. Morty snorts again. I should have let you rot. Some more, that is. Glad you feel that way. Let's go. Morty's, you can teach Morty new banter, by the way, during the course of the game. This looks to be a corpse of a well-aged, even ancient woman. Aside from the embalming fluid stink, the stitches sealing her mouth, and the number 679 stitched in onto her right cheek, it's likely she looks only slightly different now than she did in her final years. Okay. The corpse's meaty head was clearly severed at some point and hastily sewn back on. Several different sets of stitching, all in various states of unraveling, seem to indicate that the head is constantly being knocked back off and reattached during the course of its work. The number 79, our earring, has been cut into the temple, circumscribed by a fanged circle that appears to have been branded onto its forehead. Examine the fanged circle. The fanged circle it always looks like that's your text up here, but it's down here. So the fanged circle looks like it was branded on the corpse's forehead long ago, presumably before it died. It might be a religious icon of some sort or a rite of passage. You notice that one of the recesses between the inner fangs has a small triangle within it, as if it has some special significance. I wonder if the space between the fangs match the grooves of this copper earring I have. Okay. So now let's go in and let's examine our copper earring and click Use. Insert your fingernails. Okay, we can examine the grooves. Okay, and then insert our fingernails into the notch that matches where the triangle was pointing in the fanged circle you saw on zombie number 79's forehead. Okay, you hook your fingernail into the third groove from the top and press it inwards. If you don't examine all these zombies, you're going to have, this happened to be the first time I played this decades ago. I had things that I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get any farther with them. That's why you really have to take the time to do this. Oh, you don't have to. It's your game. I mean, you can do what you want to with it. Okay, and press inwards. As you do, there is a click And the top of the earring snaps open. Not only can you wear the earring now, it also looks like there's a secret compartment inside the earring. Shake the earring to see if anything comes out. You shake the earring, but nothing comes out. Whatever was hidden in the earring is long gone. There's just redundant text about that you can now wear the earring, which they done already said, actually. I wonder if that leather strap's going to come in handy. Maybe with a fall from grace, you know? Okay. Oh, got some coppers. Dustman request. Ah, this is about our zombie. Contact the necromancer responsible for raising contractual worker 42. I know he's examined the skeleton. Oh, it's a skeleton, okay, before. But I'm certain the initial raising of the body was warped. The worker still responds to commands, but when it has completed a task, it resumes pacing the same circular pattern it did before. Dahl recently informed me that worker 42 exhibited the same walking pattern when it was a zombie decades ago. So it was our zombie back then. I thought it was a zombie in our vision. There may be a soul echo in the marrow of the skeleton's age. In the marrow, or the skeleton's age may have caused the magic animating him to decay. One of the initiates suggested it may be following an order issued by a high-ranking dustman in the past, but I found no records of such an order. Whatever the reason for its behavior, the matter is to be resolved or the worker replaced. So we have to hope that our guy is still. Let's take the pry bar. It's useful in various cases. We will save it again. And we need to find our skeleton here. So we've just determined we're not looking for a zombie, but rather a skeleton. Bugger me. I thought he was going to chase me down to oblivion again. I'm looking for a skeleton here. While trying to avoid. I see primarily, that looks promising. The skeleton turns to face you. 42 has been chiseled into its forehead, and a number of bones, mostly the jaws and the joints, have been bound with leather straps. A black smock draped over its body. I think this is the corpse I had the memory about. At the sound of your voice, the skeleton suddenly straightens up. It crosses its arms over its chest, and its fingers hook into its rib cage. So let's cross our arms over our chests as well. In response, the skeleton drops its arms to its side. The leather cords securing the skeleton's torso snap, and the rib cage folds outward like a pair of double doors. Reach into the rib cage and feel around. So, to your surprise, your hand vanishes as you reach inside the rib cage. You have a strange feeling it's somewhere else. As you reach inside the rib cage, your hand bumps against an invisible object. It's about the size of a fist and seems to be attached to the skeleton's spine. Let us take the item. As you pull out the item, the skeleton suddenly disintegrates and the iron bolts securing its joints clatter to the floor. Whatever this item was, it seems to have been the only thing holding the skeleton together. Examine the item. It looks like an unremarkable lump of iron. You can't imagine why someone would hide it inside the rib cage of a skeleton. So let's examine the piece of iron. As you place both your hands on the lump of iron to examine it, there's a and the metal evaporates, leaving behind a strange dagger, a handful of coins wrapped in a dirty cloth, and 2 bloody teardrops. These look like they were inside the lump of iron. Take the items and leave. A green steel knife, 1 to 4 piercing. not exactly. This is 1 to 6 crushing. This is not exactly impressive. So you take this one and put that in here there. We don't need another leg club. So we have our own way that we, oh, shies. Seems that we've come back out in the same room where we started. Really? That's interesting. I don't remember being in here and pulling things apart like that. The especially ghastly looking female corpse is missing its ears, nose, and lips. In order to sew her jaw closed, whoever prepared her had to draw the skin especially tight around her mouth. You can still see a line of crooked yellowed teeth through the open slit that remains. The number 891 has been carved into the flesh of her brow. This is me talking, not Morty. Okay, so before we go downstairs, I don't even remember which side we're going to land on. This doddering corpse has had its eyes sewn shut as well as its mouth, and the number 732 is carved into its brow. The thread work that keeps its ocular cavities sealed looks extremely old. You wonder if the eyes were sewn shut before or after the man's death. You notice he is carrying a huge tome in his hands, as if taking it somewhere else. Take the tome from his hands carefully. You carefully take the tome from the corpse's hands. It doesn't seem to notice. The tome appears to be a book of enchantments and wards. It is filled with diagrams and charts detailing various aspects of the necromantic arts. The book itself is extremely heavy and awkward, so as awkward as the zombie is, it must be extremely strong. Examine the corpse again, blah, 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 and let's just leave it. Go in here, and I've not found out how to use this even with my mage, by the way. It says it's the Tome of Bone and Ash. I'm assuming somebody's going to want this from me at some point. This worn leather-bound tome lists diagrams and charts, and yes, I've forgotten the bulk of this game. There's only some things I remember from way back when. Detailing several minor wards and enchantments. There are numerous drawings of skeletons, bones, and the manner by which they may be preserved over time. Of particular interest in the section regarding guardians, apparently the dustmen animate corpses of fallen giants to serve as guardians for the mortuary. To make them even deadlier, armoring enchantments are woven into their breastplates to help shield them from attacks. The book is much too complex for you to absorb all at once, but it looks as if you could refer to certain sections when the need arises. This is where we want to be. Now we want to talk to her. This is where we have to really decide, are we going to be lawful or chaotic? We need to be certain about that. Anytime we make a vow, They give us the choice of saying, or they'll give us the choice of saying something that says it's the truth or a lie. That's what helps determine whether you're lawful or chaotic. And just swap back and forth to remain neutral. You see a strikingly beautiful ghost form before you. Her arms are crossed and her eyes are closed. She has long flowing hair and her gown seems to stir from some ethereal breeze. As you watch, she stirs slightly and her eyes flicker. How can it be that the thieves of the mind continue to steal my name from your memory? Do you not remember me, my love? The ghost stretches out her arms. Think. Her voice becomes desperate again. The name Dianara must evoke some memory with you. Well, let's pick number 3. I think I feel the stirrings of memory. Tell me more. Perhaps your words shall chase the shadows from my mind, Dianara. Oh, at last the fates have shown mercy. There's my blood sugar drops. So, even death cannot chase me from your mind, my love. Do you not see? Your memory shall return. Tell me how I can help you, and I shall. Sucker. Some people are so easy. My chocolate melted. White chocolate. Let's see. Do you know who I am? You are one both blessed and cursed, my love, and you are one who is never far from my thoughts and heart. Blessed and cursed, what do you mean? I thought they read more of this. The nature of your curse should be apparent, my love. Look at you. Death rejects you. Your memories have abandoned you. Do you not pause and wonder why? Okay. What else can you tell me about myself? I know that you once claimed to love me and that you would love me until death claimed us both. I believed that, never knowing the truth of who you were, what you were, and what am I? And you, I cannot. She suddenly freezes. She speaks slowly, carefully, as if her voice frightens her. The truth is this. You are one who dies many deaths. These deaths have given the knowing of all things mortal, and in your hand lies the spark of life and death. Those that die near you carry a trace of themselves that you can bring forth. As Dinara speaks the words, a crawling sensation wells up in the back of your skull. You suddenly feel compelled to look at your hand as you lift it and look at it. You see the blood coursing sluggishly through your arm, pouring into your muscles, and in turn giving strength to your bones. And you know Dinara is right. You suddenly remember how to coax the dimmest spark of life from a body and bring it forth. The thought both horrifies and intrigues you. Okay. Okay, I need to escape this place. You're about to ask Dianara a question that catches in your throat. It occurs to you that if you tell her you are looking for an escape route, she may feel you are abandoning her. If you're going to ask her how to leave, you need to decide to be delicate about it. Okay? Number 2 sounds suitably manipulative. Yanara, I'm in danger. Can you guide me to a place of safety? I shall return as soon as I can to speak to you again. Remember, we're playing a chaotic person, so I do feel free to make those sorts of promises. We need to be careful about making vows. I don't know about that. In danger, Dianara looks concerned. Of course, my love, I will aid you in any way I can. She closes her eyes and for a moment and watches the ethereal zephyr pass through her body, stirring her hair. After a moment, the zephyr dies and her eyes slowly open. Perhaps there is a way. Okay. I sense that this place holds many doors shrouded from mortal eyes. Perhaps you could use one of these portals as a means of escape. Portal? I don't know if y'all know this book. This book was written in 1988. It's called There Are Doors. Okay? It's a similar premise to this game, and I'm not sure which one came first. I've owned it for a long time. I don't know what happened to my copy of it, so I had to reacquire the book. But they're both based off the same premise of any enclosed space could potentially be a portal. In the book, I don't think you need a key necessarily, but you might do. Here you do. Portals are holes in existence leading to destinations in the inner and outer planes. If you could find the proper key, you could escape through one of them. Key. Dinara pauses for a moment as if attempting to remember. Portals will reveal themselves when you have the proper key. Unfortunately, these keys can be almost anything. An emotion, a piece of wood, a dagger of silvered glass. Should be silvered glass, I think. A scrap of cloth, a tune you hum to yourself. I fear that the dustmen are the only ones who would know the keys you could use to leave their halls, my love. Okay. Then I shall ask one of them, farewell. Hold a moment. I learned much when I traveled with you, my love, and what you have lost, I have retained. I have not divulged all that I know to you. My sight is clear, whilst you fumble in the darkness for a spark of thought. Okay. And what is it your sight sees that I do not? Time itself relaxes its hold as the chill of oblivion slowly claims us, my love. Glimpses of things yet to come swarm across my vision. I see you, my love. I see you as you are now, and... Okay. What is it you see? I see what lies ahead for you. It ripples through the plains, stemming outward from this point. Shall I speak of what I see? Sure. First, I require a promise. I'm not making a vow. This sounds like my best answer. I find it hard to believe that the woman I once loved would blackmail promises from me with the promise of revelations. Have you no faith in me? Dinara looks taken aback. Then her tone changes. Her voice becomes almost pleading. I do not mean to extract a vow from you, my love. It's just that I have waited so long for you to join me beyond the... If you do not mean to extract a vow from me, Dinara, then do not do so. Now tell me your vision, and we will speak no more of vows and promises. Dinara stiffens. She looks as if she's about to say something, and then sighs in defeat. Very well, my love. But as before, I shall have to place my trust in you. Okay, destroy what keeps me alive. Apparently I was. I do not doubt your ability to rise from the dead. I do believe that every incarnation weakens your thoughts and memories. You claim you have lost your memory. Perhaps it is a side effect of countless deaths. If so, what more will you lose in successive deaths? If you lose your mind, you will not even know enough to realize that you cannot die. You shall truly be doomed. Okay, countless deaths. How long has this been going on? I do not truly know, except that it has gone on long enough. Don't know who you are to decide that. Oh God, not that again. Okay, you know what? I'm out of here. You're going to be waiting a long time, wench. You back with me, Chief? You kind of drifted out on me there. No, I'm fine. Do you know who that spirit was? Spirit? The specter I was talking to, the woman. You were rattling your bone box with some woman? Where? Morty looks around excited. What'd she look like? She was right on top of the beer. Didn't you see her? No, you just kind of drifted out for a bit there. Just stood there, statue-like. I was a little worried you'd gone addle on me again. No, I'm fine. Let's move on. So as I said, there's a few different ways we can leave. Let's see if we have the key to the portal. That's always rather crucial. There it is. Wow, that's a lot of shadows. $30 coppers and a note. Okay, this note has been written with remarkable penmanship upon the finest parchment, Vaxus. If you are reading this, then you have undoubtedly failed in your task and have been forced to use the escape route I arranged. I told you that your little disguise idea was ridiculous. That must be the zombie we killed. In any case, you'll need to lay low for a while. The dustmen may be deluded, but they are not fools, and they will certainly seek retribution for our intrusion. I've left you some coins. Use them to secure a hiding place in the hive, preferably the rag picker's square. The dustman will be unwilling to look for you there. Once you have secured a new hiding place, I have a new mission for you. Find out where Farrod is, getting those bodies he's delivering to the mortuary. It's apparently causing the dustmen a great deal of upset, and I wouldn't mind knowing myself. Reports are that the stone-faced dustman at the gathering dust bar, Initiate Emmerich, I think the fool's name is, has been sending out finders to try and mark Farrod's movements. See if you can find out how far along he is and hinder his efforts until we know more about Farrod's activities. I don't want Emmerich finding out something before we do. Pen. Similar tactic to the Baldur's Gate one, right? Okay. Now what's going to happen a lot in this first part is you will be attacked. And you will be attacked with fair frequency. Not by that critter, but by thugs. You see a striking red-headed girl dressed in leather armor. Her right arm is covered in a series of interlocking plates that looks as if they were taken from the skin of some creature, and a horned shoulder piece protects her left arm. Oddly enough, she has a tail. This is flickering back and forth as you watch. Pike off. Greetings. She ignores you. I'm looking for someone named Farod. Can you tell me, do you know where he is? I might say more. If you sweeten the question, She clicks her tongue and rubs two fingers together. Jink, 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 jink. She means money. Oh. Well, we're going to leave this for the moment. Wench. The post. This filthy-looking corpse is in sad shape. Its shoulders are slumped, and one of its legs is broken, causing it to lean to one side. Stains cover it from head to toe. Judging from the smell and the texture, the stains run from rotten fruit to mud and bird droppings. To add to the indignity, graffiti has been carved into its body, and several notices have been nailed to its chest, back, and head. Well, I thought I was in bad shape. Don't all those nails hurt? Corpse makes no response, so let's examine it. Despite the many stitches, the corpse's rotting skin is peeling in several places. Revealing long stretches of muscle and bone, you'd guess that this zombie is frequently used as target practice. Okay, blah. There's a wicked-looking cobblestone we could take from it. I've never found a use for it, but who knows. Let's examine the other notices. A number of leaflets have been ruined by rain, but some of them are still legible. One tacked to his back is from something called the Office of Vermin and Disease Control. To one of his, the one on his forehead looks like a bill of fare for a restaurant. One on his chest looks like an official notice, and another appears to be some sort of a want ad. Wanted, able-bodied person willing to investigate matter of utmost importance to the dustman cause will offer suitable compensation upon successful completion of said task. Interested parties inquire with initiate Norochi, gathering dust bar. Okay, examine the other notices. The bill of fare is what? Someone has posted a bill of fare for the gathering dust bar. But the bill of fare cannot be read as the words smoldering corpse bar have been scrawled in charcoal over the bill. Smoldering corpse bar? A zombie immediately jerks its left arm upward and points far to the southeast. A moment later, the arm falls back to its side with a thump. Reminds me of a job I once had. He seems embarrassed. Well, I mean, without the arms. I wonder if this works with the other notices. Okay, so let's show more. What's the official notice? Public notice by order of the Judiciary Council and in accordance with the citizenry of Sigil, let it be known those defacing a registered servant of the dustman, either by graffiti, malicious attack, or by posting notices, will constitute felonious assault, and the perpetrator will be answerable for the vandalism of said servant. The order of the Hall of Speakers. Okay. To those Hive citizens wishing gainful employment with the most honorable and generous Sigil government, inquire forthwith at Office of Vermin and Disease Control to help stem the plague of brain rats. Bounties paid. Copper given for each rat tail brought. Tails must be genuine and from rats only. No cats, dogs, or fiend tails, except we could have gone and gotten that chick's tail and turned it in. Office several streets south and west. The mortuary gate in Lower Hive. Ask for official inspector in charge, the respected Phineas T. Lort, 39. The Office of Vermin and Disease Control. The zombie immediately jerks his left arm upward and points to the far southwest. A moment later, the arm falls back to the side. So, what else have we got? Let's examine the graffiti. The graffiti runs from obscenities about the dustmen to slogans glorifying what appear to be local gangs. One piece of graffiti catches your eye. Someone has carved the name Farad on the corpse's left arm and then slashed an X across it. Farad? Fuck, I missed that in my game that I've been playing earlier. I didn't examine him well enough to get to the point where he was pointing everywhere. The zombie immediately jerks its left arm upward and points to the far west and downwards. A moment later, the arm falls back to the side with a thump. Okay, that looks like that's about it. The proverbial. Better me. Okay, you see a spindly thin dustman in dirty black robes. His stiff black hair springs forth from his skull like a crown of spikes, and his leopard white skin is drawn sharply across his skull. He is frowning into his drink and mumbling to himself. The dustman looks up, blinks once, then looks at you up and down, studying you. As he studies you, he takes one of his spiked locks and points at himself with it. Norosh, initiate, dustman, guard. I'm here to ask about the posting outside. Many troubles have I. Help you can. A mausoleum awakes, the dead walk, the dead disturb, the dustman disturbed. Find out what disturbs undead, and copper coins I will pay. Sounds like fun. Mausoleum by Dustman Memorial, go north and west from Black Monument. Go to Arch and a semicircle over your heart with finger this make. He wiggles the index finger of his right hand to the mausoleum. You will go. So he's just given us the key and told us where the portal is. Okay. Save this. Before you is a tall, silent figure. He could easily pass for a statue, although the deep furrow in his face and brow make you wonder if the sculpture was a little too eager in defining the face with the chisel. He looks well over 50 years old. Oh my gosh, he's ancient, isn't he? But exactly how much over 50 is hard to tell. Could be in those days, it was. As he slowly turns to look at you, you catch the dull sheen of copper in his eyes. Greetings. Old Copper Eyes stares at you. His eyes are difficult to make out past the black well of his eye sockets, but they look to have a coppery sheen about them. Okay, he's clearly not going to talk to us. Let me grab some tea real quick. By the way, part of the reason that I get up and move around frequently is I have diabetes that's in remission, I could say. I went back down to pre-stage diabetes, but I need to move around. Periodically, I can't stay still. Constantly. It's not good for my circulation. So this tiny wizened man is dwarfed by his huge dustman robes. They look as if they were chosen to cloak his small stature. Although he looks to be in his late 90s, this man is extremely energetic. He fidgets continuously, and his eyes dart around the bar like a bird's. The man's eyes gleam as he takes your measure, and he gives a slight nod in greeting. Hail and well met, traveler. You look like one who is just getting their sigil legs about them. He trails off. Pardon me, have we met before? Your face seems familiar somehow. Possibly. Are you certain it was me? Maybe I was mistaken. Mortai shakes his head. Well, no matter, no matter. How is it that Mortai Gravesend may help you? Do you seek? He clucks his tongue as he speaks. The contract, perhaps? Contract? The contract. Why, it is but a simple transaction. From the depths of his huge robe, Mortai pulls forth a dusty parchment and a quill pen. I give you 50 commons, which are the coppers, right? In return, after death, the Dustman faction may claim your remains. He smiles, then clucks his tongue. What use will you have for them at that point anyway? And what did the Dustman do with this body? Mortai holds up his hands as if he doesn't know. What does it matter? It is of no consequence when you pass on. Yeah, I don't know. It matters to me. Well, if you must know, oftentimes nothing is done with the body, and it is we, the dustmen, who have wasted all that money. More the fools us. Mortai gives a light smile and then looks apologetic. But rarely, there are times when the workers in the mortuary need to be replaced, and then we may have need of your body. You mean I'll be animated as a corpse and put to work in the mortuary? That doesn't sound good. Ah, but no harm is done, no pain. Mortai raises a finger as if to emphasize the point, and there is no danger. In exchange for money you can spend in this life, you merely have to give us something that you will have no need of anyway once you have died. Mortai taps his chest. I signed the contract myself, if you must know. I shall have no need of my body when I pass on. I'll consider it for now. I have other questions. Tell me about some of the patrons. It'd be stupid to ask everybody about the journal. I can tell you nothing comes out of it. You just look like an idiot. Of course, which patrons? What about old Copper Eyes over there? Okay, his eyes go cold. The one with the eyes of copper, his eyes speak enough about his purpose here. He makes a semicircle of his heart. A member of the Dustmen he may be, but I would never sign a dead contract with him. Copper is his soul, and to me that speaks of an excess of passion for money. He's a Dustman in name only. Are Dustmen not allowed to feel passions? Oh my, yes. Too much passion, too much emotion prevents one from reaching the true death. To be passionate runs contrary to the philosophy of our faction. Okay, so we can ask him about more people when we come back. Mortai nods as you turn to leave. He has a strange expression on his face. Is there something wrong? Forgive me, I must ask again. Are you sure we haven't met before? Possibly. I do not recall you. He shakes his head. Well, no matter. Yes, farewell. He's muttering something under his breath. Okay. So, let's save again after each of these tedious dialogues. This is the beginning of the game. This is the way it starts. You have to get information. As you approach, the elderly woman turns and stares at you. La, look who's come calling on Sarah today. Death's dearest son. She looks you up and down, then shakes her head in disbelief. By every power and its mother, boy, what crypt did you crawl out of? I'm fresh from the mortuary, actually. Ah, this one's better. Well, the crypt was losing its charm, so now I'm looking around for the right place to die. Know of anywhere? So, she barks a laugh that rattles your ears. Ha! Not here unless you want to die of boredom. Okay, what's wrong with here? Someone pinch your sense and your sight, boy? She waves her hand around the bar. Look around. What do your eyes tell you? A bunch of fun-loving dustmen drinking happily and conversing merrily, celebrating life to the fullest. You've got a clever tongue there, boy. Mayhap your tongue is cleverer than you are. Sarah squints at you, then snorts. That explains the scars. But it doesn't explain why a dustman is standing here ridiculing another dustman. Care to answer that one? Are you a dustman? A dustman, I suppose, she sniffs. I've seen enough sands pass through the hourglass while wearing these robes. This body's almost ready to pay the ferryman, she chuckles. but there's not much mirth in it. Are you afraid of dying? Of course I am, boy, who isn't? She frowns and glances around, except dustmen. They're not afraid because they've swollen. Yeah, I don't feel like sitting here reading for too much longer. It's starting to melt my brain. So she's just gonna tell you she got real sick and the dustman came and was hoovering over her, telling her how lucky she was because she was finally gonna die. And no, yeah. And I'm just telling her it doesn't sound like she believes in their philosophy anymore. I asked her what she will do. The core to Dustman philosophy is that this life is one of pain. It is a weapon that life uses against a soul to keep it anchored to this existence. Do not let this brush with the fever break your Dustman beliefs. Nope. Sarah, I would treat this as a test of your belief. It sounds like these feelings are only temporary. All those years of your devotion, if you truly believed in the philosophy, then your brush with the fever would not have left you with such doubts. Okay, I'll have to chew on it some more. You should. This is no small matter. Okay. Does she wants to know? My handshakes with death, have they changed my views? Does it make me appreciate life a bit more? Well, my condition is unique. I woke up in the mortuary. I think they mistook me for a corpse and were prepared to bury me. The strange thing is, I think I actually died and got better. You're rattling my coffin. Yeah, I'm just joking. I'd hate to people know what I am. So here's the deal. If you change classes, later on you'll be given the chance to change classes to a thief or to a mage or to, I think, to a cleric. To a cleric. You can join different factions. It doesn't affect your class. These are two different things. Um, when you change classes, you no longer have the use of your old class, but you also don't go up in your new class until you have the sufficient hit points. So I mean experience points. So if I changed over to a mage right now, I think I dropped back down, and then I had to start building up the experience points again. But I did lose my fighter class completely, of course. So now I get to put one more point somewhere. That is the question. Right now everything is fairly evenly distributed. I think for the moment I'm going to put it on my constitution. There are things you can achieve with your charisma when it's higher throughout the game, well, with the various attributes. So that's something to think about. And you might be inclined to do some research ahead of time, by the way. So before we go on and collect more information here, like I said, sort of melting my brain. Let's talk to him real quick. There's another fun one down there. We see a heavy-set man with dark skin, grim features. He's dressed in his dustman robe and regards you with a stony gaze. Greetings. You have the look of one who's lost. His voice is like a stone settling. Did the wind send you, or are you here with purpose? Who are you? I'm Emmerich, factotum, an initiate of the fourth circle. Okay, is this your bar? Okay, blah, blah, blah. Can I ask you some questions? Looking for a man named Farad. I would know why you seek him. He stole something from me. He doesn't seem to blink Why do you want to know my business with Farod? The collector Farod has brought many corpses to the mortuary of late. One must ask where these bodies come from. Tell me more about these bodies. Some are recent dead. They still have their last moments in their eyes. Many more bodies are centuries dead. The dust of age lies upon their bones. Well, I know where they come from. We'll find out later. I know as a player, not a character. Yeah. Okay, Chisel. So, we're not going to offer to go find him for them. Let us, however, come and talk to this one because this is fun. Before you is a young dustman with stubble on his chin and dark circles beneath his eyes. He's staring at the wall with a somber expression. Greetings. The dustman doesn't look up. He stares straight ahead, as if he's seeing something several leagues beyond the walls of the bar. Can I ask you some questions? The dustman doesn't respond. He keeps staring into the distance. All righty then, Morty hisses at you. Let's go, Chief. This dusty might as well be fertilizer. Fair enough. Let's get out of here. As you turn to leave, the dustman suddenly speaks, his voice barely a murmur. You have to strain to hear the words. You think he said something about wanting to die. What did you say? Boy's expression does not flicker. Do you want to die? The truth is, no, do you? Yes. Why do you want to live? I don't want to join Oblivion just yet. I like being alive a lot better. The dustman listens silently. After you speak, he does not respond, merely watches you. He looks like he's thinking. Do you want to die? Is that why you have asked? Yes. Okay. Why don't you want to live? This is living? And it's a mockery of life. Death is silent and comforting. Okay, then why haven't you already killed yourself? I've been looking for a means to end my life. Will you kill me? Yes. Do it now. I cannot wait any longer. All right, close your eyes. Okay, reach out around his neck and strangle him. So let's release him, because he's grasping and he's clawing at my hands. I could have just choked him, just snapped his neck. I guess was the choice. Okay, and to your discomfort, you find yourself doing so reluctantly, releasing him. The boy gasps for air, coughing violently. Change your mind? The boy nods weakly. Look, next time you want to die, you better be damn sure, because the next feller may not stop when you ask him to. Now stop moping around about life's misery when you obviously still want to be part of it. The boy looks at you for a moment in silence, and then he nods slowly, rubbing his neck. I'm keeping the money as the price for this lesson. Seems fair enough to me. The boy nods again and finally catches his breath. Very well, thank you, sir, for giving me a fresh perspective. Don't thank me, just live. It insults the dead when you treat life carelessly. Farewell. So. Alrighty, there's those. Let's go fight. Let's go pick a fight. Actually, first let's go take care of this here. Then we have a place to rest. See, we've got the arm. This woman looks to be in her middle years, and her hair has streaks of gray running through it. The lines of worry crisscross her face as she sees you. She seems torn between asking you to leave and calling for the man at the table. Greetings. You'd best leave, for I call my husband. He won't take kindly to you having barged your way into our home. Okay, if you were going to call him, you would have done so already. I have some questions for you. She glances toward her husband, worry in her eyes. I have not the time, stranger. Don't be troubling me with such things. Excuse me, are you all right? Me? Oh, aye. She lowers her voice. You'd best leave. My husband hasn't been himself of late. You'd best not provoke him with your presence. Okay, what's wrong with him? He's been out of sorts of late. Touch of the cough, maybe. She gives an unconvincing half shrug. What's really wrong with him? I think he's done something he regrets. Her worried expression melts into despair. I think he signed one of those dead contracts. I cannot imagine what possessed him to do such a foolish thing. Okay, dead contracts. The dead, the dustmen, have contracts that give them the right to take a person's body after they die. And what do they do with it? Okay, why would your husband sign such a thing? Can this contract be undone? She says she's tried. Let me see what I can do. Who was the dustman that signed the contract? Graveson. Okay. So let's go take a look at this. I can't make promises. We'll have to see what happens. Why do people want me to promise something when I don't know? Now, I've done this before, so I'll show you how to do this without any violence. You probably know. If you don't, then let's see. You're the one who signed the dead contract with Angyar. I do not recall the name, however. I would like to settle the contract. I'm afraid that's impossible. The contract's signed, settled, and binding. Signed, settled, and binding. Okay. The contract is tearing the man's life apart. It's causing him distress. It is possible he may not even be able to approach true death with such emotions churning in his mind. Remember, they told me that they can't feel, they're not allowed to feel passion because it keeps them from true death. So, Mortide chews it over for a moment. It looks like you've negotiated him into a corner. I cannot. It is a matter of law. My friend, besides, the burden lies upon the signer to overcome his feelings in order to reach true death. I cannot. Okay. So, what you're saying is you will deny him true death for the sake of a piece of parchment. Mortai sighs and holds up his hands as if to placate you. Look, it's not how you're making it out to be. But you obviously hold the philosophy of the dustman in contempt to damn a man's soul over a piece of paper. Do other members of your faction know of your conduct in this regard? If not, they soon will. Mordai glares at you for a moment, opens his mouth, closes it, then opens it. By the 9 hells, wait here. He drops his voice to a whisper. And keep your bone box latched. He gives you an angry scowl and stomps off. So we wait. A few seconds later he returns. He's holding a dusty piece of parchment, which he gives to you. Here. He sniffs disdainfully. All for a man's peace of mind. Now be gone and nettle me with your preachings no longer. Okay. And chisels. And then we have a place to sleep. We spoke with her, so let's speak with her again. Yeah, I was able to get the contract. I expect something in return. I have some money, few coppers. Yeah, that'll be fine. She reaches into the fold of her robes. Small price to pay. Okay. Here's the contract. So I want to make sure we still have a place to stay. That's why I don't want to bleed her dry. Greetings. The man glances up at the sound of your voice. Blah, blah, blah. He's trying to drive us out. It's show him the dustman contract. She pull out the contract. The blood drains from his face, and in a moment he seems At a loss for words, then his temper quickly resurfaces. Where did you get that? By the powers. You'd best tell me. No, let's just tear up the contract. That's the best choice. You tear up the parchment, and his eyes follow the bits of paper as they float to the ground with a desperate look. He shudders slightly, then straightens if a great weight has lifted off of him. Yet he looks like he is about to thank you, then stops and stares at you suspiciously. Nothing is free, not in the hive cutter. Okay, I might need a favor in the future. Could you help me? I ransomed my life to one man already. I'm not about to do it again. We'll settle the debt now. Okay? Don't know if we'll be able to come back and use this again and again. Okay. Okay, can I ask why you signed the contract? Perhaps it's the sheer amount of riches and wealth that surrounds you that distracts you, he snorts. We have less than nothing, and I need a jink. Didn't seem to matter too much at the time. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, what caused you to change your mind? He just did. Okay. Then you shouldn't have. Okay. Okay. Just curious. Not that curious. Let's go out and pick a fight. So, really kind of hard because you can only take people into your party in a certain order, really. The game's just kind of designed that way. I don't really want to go to this next spot yet because there's a lot of reading and dialogue there. My brain is fried. Let's go talk to him. You see a heavyset man with sharp features and a pained expression despite his huge frame. However, he has an effeminate look about him, and unlike the other residents you've seen, he looks to have bathed recently. As you approach, he looks up hopefully and calls out in a high voice, "Craddock, good sir!" What? Okay. 1,000 pardons. I didn't mean to give offense. I'm Bane, the Sender, third child of Diabane, the Sender. I'm one of the runners employed for the House of Senders. Okay. You haven't offended me yet. What do you want? 1,000 apologies for troubling you with such a trivial matter. I seek Craddock, the overseer in the hive, but alas, he eludes me. Could it be you have heard of such a man? Nope. I am bound to deliver a message to him, and as yet fortune has chosen not to favor me. Okay, I might be able to deliver the message for a price. Of course, good sir. If you can find this Craddock, pass along the message. I shall pay you for your troubles. Okay, what's the message? I am told that Craddock will know... Oh, hold it. The shipment must be cursed by the third day, or there will be a penalty. Okay, supposedly this guy knows who the shipment is. If I see him, I'll give it to him. He's said to be a giant of a man, stern features, overseer of one of the hive marketplaces. Okay, thank you, sir. Should fortune favor you, blah, blah, blah. So there's another quest we have. We don't want to go into the catacombs yet, I promise you. It is above our level at this point. Okay, I actually wanted to talk to her because she has a quest for us. Greetings. Okay, some chaos men killed her 2 sisters. Okay, I wouldn't mind penning some of the men into the dead book for some coin. You got the copper? We can talk terms. Copper earring in your purse if you pen 3 of those murdering sods in the dead book. Okay. Seems fair enough. She says they are, go to the south gate, spireward, walk around the block until you come to a place where a man runs in circles howling at the sig sky. Okay. Sounds very convoluted. Suitably so. Oh, yes, her. Ingress. You see a haggard woman wrapped in rags. Her hair is disheveled and dirty, and her complexion is extremely dark. Burns cover her arms, and her right hand is a fused lump of flesh. It looks melted like wax exposed to a great heat. Greetings. Okay, so I don't want to read all this either. This is an awful lot. Blah, blah, blah. Prison everywhere. Everywhere. So she starts talking about, okay, there's worlds, there's plains that be sinking sands, fields, thirsty nettles be, sightless worlds where your limbs are given life and hate, cities of dust whose people are dust and whisper ash, this house without doors. I've been in a house without doors. The twilight lands, the singing winds, and shadows, the terrible shadows there be. Where are these places? Where's them places? There's all over doors. She's talking about the doors, everywhere doors. So, doors? You're not knowing this. You're not knowing this? Tell me I will. Tell you I will. Beware every space you walk through or touch in this thrice cursed city. Doors, gates, arches, windows, picture frames, the open mouth of a statue, the spaces between shelves. Beware any space bounded on all sides, same premise in the book I showed you earlier. All these are doors to other places. Okay, what do you mean? Every door has a key, it does, and with this key they show their true nature. An arch becomes a portal, a picture frame becomes a portal, a window becomes a portal, all eager to take you someplace else. They steal you away. She raises the lump of her right hand, and sometimes what's on the other side takes part of you as a tithe. So where are these keys? What are these keys? Keys. The keys number as many as the doors of this city. Every door a key. Every key a door. Her teeth start chattering again as if she's cold. And a key is anything. It may be an emotion, an iron nail held between ye second and fifth fingers, a thought brought 3 times, then thought once in reverse, or it may be a glass rose. All these things, and these are all keys that open these doors? Yes. Her teeth start chattering, and she clenches her mouth, closes her squints, and she clenches her mouth closed and squints her eyes. Yes. Can't leave. How'd you get here? She seems to calm slightly, and her eyes take on a 1,000-league stare. Came from a place else from here, almost a life ago. Hummed a tune by a glade with 2 dead trees that had fallen together. A brilliant door opened in the space between the crossed trees, showed me the city on the other side. I stepped through, ended here. Why can't you go back? Tried. In the book it says, if you step through and you realize that you've ported, do not turn around, but rather step backward. Because if you turn around, it disappears. Not quite the same concept here. Tried, she sobs, but no tears come. Tried, all doors here lead to other places. She shudders and grips her melted right hand. Went through thrice 10 portals, some a purpose, some accident, none of them right. Can't find way back. Okay, there must be a portal to take you back. Blah, 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 blah. You're afraid to go through any door or arch because it might be a portal. How long have you been afraid of this? 30 years. You haven't walked through any door for 30 years. She must used to be pissing in the street, I guess. If you got here, there must be a portal back. It's only a matter of finding it. I don't know. I don't think it's mine to judge. She smiles. Her teeth aren't chattering because she is cold. They are moving around in her mouth. Her gums twist and the teeth shift about. They rise and recede as you watch, chattering as they rattle against each other. What? Only takes one portal you steps through an accident to drive fear into you, okay? Okay, if I find someone who can... That goes... That goes to the catacombs that we're not going to yet. By the by. Okay, I wanted to grab a couple quests before we go. Every inch of this man's skin is covered in a web of black lines. It's as if some artist chose to accentuate every crease in his flesh with a quill pen. The overall effect is such that even his face shows no expression. He appears to be frowning, even when it shows no expression. This one has a name. This one is called Porphyron. The man's voice is like a gong. As he speaks, the lines on his face bend and settle into a series of spherical patterns. This one would know, why do you address this one? I want to ask you some questions about the city. This one would have you know. This one cannot answer your questions. This one has only recently stepped foot into this place of walls. All right then, but I have to ask you this. Why do those lines upon your face move? The lines show anger. Do you take offense? The lines slowly straighten, forming gentle curves. No offense was meant. Do you accept apology from this one? No offense is taken. Why are you angry? This one tells of the recent event. Did you know this one was beset by 3? The 3 demanded an item of this one. This one feared an attack. What does this one do? This one surrendered the item. Okay, well, you were right to be afraid. If there were 3, then they might have killed you had you not given up the item. This one has been misunderstood. The lines on his face become angled, then smooth into curves again. This one did not fear being killed. This one feared killing the 3. Well, if you could have killed them, why did you let them rob you? This one walks the path of a warrior. Many weapons have walked with this one. The fist, the blade, the staff, the hatchet, and the smiter. These tools are all known to this one. It's not much of an explanation. This one is forbidden to attack. The lines ripple across his face as he speaks. If this one had struck the 3 in anger, the vow of non-violence would be unmade. A vow of non-violence? You're a warrior and a pacifist? This one is unfamiliar with your speech. What is this pacifist? Never mind. Why did you train so much if you're not permitted to attack another? This one is of the order of Eritage. We await the final days where we will be called to battle. The training and skills of this one, they are to be kept silent until then. In the meantime, you will let yourself be robbed in the street without defending yourself? This one will clarify. The item is of value. The discipline of the Eritage is of great value. Okay, since you won't fight any chance you could talk these thieves into returning your item, this one addresses the 3 thieves. What happens? The request of this one is met with scorn. The 3 will not return the item. I'll go and beat them like dogs and take back what they stole. This one must ask, would you bring violence to the 3 that have robbed this one? Well, if they aren't smart enough to hand it over when I ask, things could get ugly. The lines on the man's face form into a series of overlapping ellipses. If that is the message they understand, then that is how the message must be conveyed. Okay, what was the item you lost? A rope of black and red prayer beads worn around the neck. The worth of these beads is not measured in copper. The worth of these beads is measured in faith. Okay, where would they be? This one knows where the angry words were traded and the item lost by the bar that burns itself. The 3 were outside the place, dressed in black and red. 3 robbers dressed in black and red. Okay, alles klar. So, What happened to your ear? You see a shady-looking feller standing before you, picking his teeth with what appeared to be a tiny metal fork. Ah, that guy. We'll come back to him later. We have... Oh. Blimey, that's not the right way. This is the hub. This is the hubbub. Bub. Okay, now we're at the marketplace. It's interesting we haven't been attacked yet. I was attacked left and right in my other game. That's him. Are you Craddock? I come with a message. What's the problem? Ah, bloody hell. See, that's the hugest problem is you don't get these quests. I can go find them for a price. Fantastic. Wunderbar, darling. Einfach fabelhaft. Let's talk to Iron Nails here. Broad-shouldered woman shuffling about amongst the huge beams lying in the street. She kicks at the beams, iron-shod boots. Once in a while she bends down and wrenches a nail from one of the boards with her bare hands. She holds each one up, appraising it, and drops it into a leather sling bag. So she straightens up hearing your approach, smiles politely, but from her stance and the way her head rests close to the hilt of her weapon, or hand rests close to the hilt of her weapon, you can tell she's ready for trouble. You notice one of her eyes has milky film over it. That's close enough there. What do you need? Just had some questions. What are you doing? What does it look like I'm doing? Burke collecting nails. Why? I sell them to a man named Hamris in the lower ward. Maker of coffins he is. Tell me more about him. Not much to say. He's a bit chatty. He'd rattle his bone box till you're barmy. Okay, but a fair bargainer. He needs nails. I need jink. Okay, where's the lower wards? I used to know the way, but the Dabas have changed the street around again. Don't know how to get there now. And I need to chart a new path, but I figured the Dabases will straighten things out eventually. Lady servants. You must be new to Sigil. Yeah, I am. Tell me about them. They work over the city doing the lady's will, always building and rebuilding. They are using what's fallen and torn down to make something new. Who's the lady? Oh, now you don't. I won't be saying anything more about her than I already have. She traces a semicircle around her heart with a finger. Take my advice, Brooke. Don't go asking around about the lady. Yeah, okay. See? And there they come. Periodically, they will decide to attack you. And then they'll run like the mammy's babies they are. I could still get a copper out of that. Cretin. Come here. He's a big old chicken shit, isn't he? So, it's nice to get the experience points. We got a variety of merchants here. I sort of talk to them to see who'll buy what. Or what you can buy from whom. Whispering Flash. Ah. The Gith brought that with him. He'll buy the knife. And the hammer. and the green steel knife, and the rusty dagger. But I want to sell the bronze bracelet until we get a few more of those. So we have 276 coins. We have enough to buy either the battle axe equality 2d9 or 1 to 10. See, there's where we can debate that. I think 2d9 is better than 1d10, just because you can't roll a 1 with it. But it is a highly debatable thing. Some people feel that a 1d10 is better. Some people feel that a 1d9 is better. As you see, however, there's something missing here that this has, and that is a thwacko. Get a +1. 2 hit armor class 0 is what that stands for those of you who don't know that. So let's take that. We will go like this. Give some of the stuff to Morty because he's not going to be leaving us anytime really soon. I left a lot of stuff at the mortuary this time because it is really useless for me. Okay. This one we can drop. Iron Spike we may end up needing at some point. I don't know if I've ever actually needed some of this stuff. Okay, so there's those. Now, let's go find. I think if we come down this way, we'll find the smoldering corpse bar. Remember, this is a hub in the plains, so you meet all sorts. You do. So these are the guys whose butts we need to kick. Let's save it, and then, well, actually, you know, let's kind of want to get healed a little bit more than what I am. I'm not pleased with the current state of my health. Okay. Because there are 3 of them, and there's only 2 of us. See how my new axe works. Nice. This is on difficulty level 4, as I've said, so. There's the beads we were contracted to find. Okay, so given the state of our health, I would advise us to go back to that guy and give him his beads first. He's a fighter, by the way, who will train us. Oh, I dropped that club because it was not worth anything. You suck. So we're going to give him his beads and train with him, and then we will call this stream, we'll call an end to this stream. Hopefully there'll be more people in tomorrow. Don't know what we'll be streaming. We'll see. Okay, as you speak, this one would. I think so. How's this? So I killed them and took the beads. Pleasure was mine. I have a question for you though. If you cannot enter combat, how did you get your warrior training? They may train with one when there is no anger between them. Okay, I see. Could you teach me how to use those weapons? With knowledge of violence comes temptation to use it. Yep, I sure hope so. Okay, is your will to leave behind your previous profession and walk the path of the warrior? Cannot be walked with an unfocused mind. I already am a warrior. I have no profession other than fighting at this moment. I would walk the path of the warrior. This one will instruct. Okay, so these things compromise the angles of your training. Focus, experience, proficiency. Okay. This one will speak of focus first. For teaching to take root, you must have focus. You must be committed to the path of the warrior. The warrior is your profession, no other. Okay. This one will speak of experience. True knowledge of combat comes only with experience. There is a limit to how much weapon instruction one may absorb. When you reach a new level in Art of Warrior, it may be that you are ready for new instruction. Okay, understood. This one will speak of proficiency. There is only so much one may learn or can learn about any weapon. This one, it's not may learn, it's can learn. This one would add, there is only so much that this one can teach. Knowledge of the weapon comes at 3 levels: the ignorant, the proficient, and the specialized. There are levels between each of these in which the student has surpassed previous learning, but has not yet truly reached the plateau for the next level. Okay. The ignorant is when you have no knowledge of it. Obviously, the attack is clumsy. Damage is much less than the potential. Sounds like when I woke up on the slab. Okay, the level of the proficient is when one has learned the weapon. He is said to be proficient in its use. His attacks are no longer clumsy. They come swiftly and surely. And the specialist? The level of the specialist is this: when one goes beyond proficiency, he becomes specialized in use of the weapon. The weapon is no longer a tool, it is an extension of will. Okay, so we have an axe. Yes, I wish to learn this weapon. Can I learn more about the axe? Okay, so now we are exceedingly proficient. We're experts in the axe, or not, I don't know. I have not tried to do multiple instruction like that. Okay, this one can teach you no more. Do you know you have already achieved the level of proficient in the use of such a weapon? This one can only instruct you in the final lesson. Find a master to learn more, if indeed it is possible for you to learn more. Remain devoted to the path. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. So the fist irons are not going to be of any use to us. We will keep the other ones for shits and grins. Okay, and I think we will let's save our game under a new save. Okay, chaotic, starting out. Okay, we will save it like that, and then we will end our stream. Thank you so much for being with me. I do know there's a lot other things you could be doing. Appreciate it if you're watching this, even as a past broadcast, and you like my content. Follow me. I play a variety of games. There's bound to be something that you enjoy. And I will wish you all the best, and I will see you when I see you. Bye-bye.